And sure enough, I turn over my hand for a bit of fun. I ask my opponent what I should do, and he says, if you call, you win. Do people normally tell the truth when they say that? Is this an obvious strength tell because he's clearly lying? I don't have a clue. And what's more, after I show my hand, he starts to look quite nervous, which could be another reverse tell. I'm so confused and overwhelmed by all these tells and reverse tells, I just say fuck it and make the call. Hello everyone, my name is Garrett Blackwood. Welcome back to the vlog. As you can see, I am back, I am home, I'm here at the Hustler Casino in Los Angeles, where I will be here for the next 3 months, playing 510, 1020, anything that runs, making content along the way. Super delighted to be back. That is the intro done. We're going to get straight into the action. Let's check out some hands. As mentioned, I am delighted to be back here at the Hustler Casino. We're starting the game 7-handed today, and in my very first hand of the trip, I stick on the $20 straddle and pick up 6-5 offsuit. Under the gun raises to $50. It's my first hand of the entire trip, so no chance I'm folding this one. I make the call, and we see a flop of 10-4-3 with 2 hearts. My hand is a reasonable check raise candidate, but I decide to check call versus the c-bet that comes my way. The turn is a 3 of hearts, and when my opponent bets again, I just let my hand go. This might look like a strange hand to start us off with here, but I did put on the $20 straddle, which leads to a round of straddles, which then leads to the straddle being on all day, kind of like the butterfly effect in a way. On to some actual hands now, and next up, local pro Charlie makes it $60 to go in the cutoff. I look down at ace queen of hearts on the button and put in the re-raise to $180. Even though the $20 straddle is on today, it's a $1,500 cap buy-in, and Charlie decides to 4-bet shove for the entire $1,500. Really tempting to make the call, but after a minute, I decide to just let my hand go. I make the fold, and I tell the table that I'm folding this because it's day 1, but in 3 months time I'll be snapping this one off. Next up, I'm in the $20 straddle with 10-9 offsuit. Under the gun limps for $20. Late position then makes it $80 to go. It folds round to me, and this is a little bit of a loose peel, but I'm full of boyish glee on my first session back here in LA, so I make the call, as does the limper. We go 3 ways to queen 10-7 with 2 spades. The original raiser c-bets here for $120. I've got second pair and a backdoor straight draw, so I make the call. Heads up to the turn, it's an offsuit 8. I check and my opponent bets again, this time for $240. Nothing else I can really do here other than call and try and improve. To the river, it's a jack. I make my straight, and I actually think about leading out here, but this player can definitely play ace-king like this, so I decide to check. He snap checks back. He tells me that I needed that jack on the river to save me. First real pot of the trip coming my way. Let's hope it's the first of many. We've got a pretty good game today, decent action, and next up I pick up a couple of snowmen in the cutoff and raise to $50. The small blind puts in the re-raise to $200. He's a pretty solid lag pro, and I know he's going to be very loose here, so I decide to 4-bet shove for $850 total. My opponent snap folds. Easy pickup for me here, and this hand is really important because in the very next hand, just 10 minutes later, I'm in the small blind with king-jack offsuit. The $40 straddle is on, so I raise to $120. The same player from the last hand makes it $340 to go. I decide to peel, hoping to just catch a piece and go with it. To the flop we go. I guess you could call this monotone flop catching a piece. I check, and the big blind bets for $250. He's got about $900 behind here. I know he can have a lot of random junk in his range. I'd quite like to win the pot with just king high right now, and if he calls, it's not like I'm going to be in terrible shape every single time, so I move all in, expecting this to get through very often, but of course this time I get snap called. We agree to run it twice, and it's not ideal when he turns over ace king with the nut flush draw, drawing super thin, needing a non-club jack, which of course does not come. My first all-in pot of the trip going the way of my opponent. Is it time to just give up and go back to London? Absolutely not. I rebuy to $1,500 and keep on battling. And next up, for the first time in this trip, I look down at pocket aces. There's been a limp for $20. I'm in the small blind and put them to work for $90. The big blind makes a call, as does the limper. We go 3 ways to king 9-6 rainbow. I, of course, do not actually have pocket aces here. I've got 7 deuce offsuit. You might be thinking, Gazzy, you whale, what the hell are you doing? Well, fear not, there's method to the madness. This game is hosted by well-known US pro Billy, aka DGAF, and he's very much involved in choosing the HCL stream lineup, and I'm trying to get myself an invite to the stream. He's in the big blind for this hand and makes the call. We go heads up to the turn, which is the 8 of diamonds. I had intended to just give up with my 7 deuce here after the flop, but I pick up the straight draw and decide to fire again for $300. Surprisingly, this gets the job done. I turn over my hand and say $50 each. Pay up, boys. But Billy's been running super bad so far today, so this kind of feels like it's a bit of an unintentional needle, just a complete tumbleweed moment for me all in all. Down about $1,300 at this point, not sweating it though because it's not even a buy-in, and that could all change when I pick up a couple of Kardashians in the straddle. After 2 limps, the button pops it to $75. The small blind calls, and I put in the re-raise to $360. Only the button makes the call, and as the dealer is fanning the flop, the voice in my head is saying, no ace, no ace, no ace, no ace, no ace, no ace. We get a very low 7-5-3 rainbow. I decide to bet very small here for $225. His pairs are never folding, but he's got lots of ace highs that I want to keep in as well. He cuts out the 225 and then reaches for another 500 and raises me. Kind of surprised to see that. Not really worried though. It's tough to be beat here, and if I am, then I'm happy to just pay that man his money. I move all in for $480 on top of the raise. No snap call, which is always good, just in case he was in there with like 7-5 suited pre. After a moment, he makes the call and turns over pocket jacks. Very much on the right side of this nasty cooler, and 2 clean rivers later, I score a full double up here, and what's more, it puts me slightly into profit for the day. The monster pre-flop hands are going to keep on coming, as next up I pick up ace king of hearts, and what's more, the double straddle is on for $40 here. I make $100 to go in early position. The player to my left then puts in the re-raise, but it's only to $200. It folds back around to me, and I really didn't know what to make of this small raise. He's played quite solid all day, and I'm kind of bamboozled by this size. If we were a bit shallower, I would just put in the 4-bet and call it off, but we're like 4k effective at this point, so I decide to play super conservatively and just flat. Heads up to the flop here, it comes down queen 10-5 all black. I face a bet of $100. Can't really do anything here other than just call. To the turn, it's a double flush draw queen. I check and he bets $700. Really happy I decided to take this line with my ace king in hindsight, as I of course fold on the turn. But if you think I've played this ace king a bit too nitty, well, fear not, as I'll be playing this ace king much more aggressively. Next orbit is me that puts on the $40 straddle. The button limps, I make it $200 to go, and he makes the call. Heads up, we go to 9-8-3 rainbow. Swing and a miss here, but I decide to stick out a c-bet, kind of find out where I'm at. I bet $225, no fold from the button. He makes the call. An offsuit queen rolls off on the turn. There's about $900 in there, and he's got $700 behind, and it's an overcard to the board, so I decide to shove all in. I'm going to look real stupid here if he snaps with Jack 10, but fortunately I fade the snap call, and sure enough, after a few seconds, he lets his hand go. It's not the best bluff in the world theory-wise, but hey, it ain't spew if it gets through. On a bit of a heater these last few hands, and next up the cutoff is open to $60. I'm on the button with ace queen offsuit and decide to just smooth call. The straddle comes along for the ride as well. We go 3 ways to ace 5-3 with 2 clubs. The straddle actually leads out here for $175. The cutoff makes a quick fold, and I decide to just call. The turn is the dreamiest queen of hearts I've ever seen in my life. Top 2 pair for me, and the straddle leads again, this time for $200. If the board was rainbow, I'd maybe consider just calling, but given the flush draws out there, I decide to put in the raise. I make it $650 to go. My opponent thinks for a little while and eventually moves all in. I of course snap call, immediately turn my hand over, and after 2 brick rivers he tells me that I'm good and mucks his hand. This is the same guy that I had kings versus jacks with. Obviously not his day versus me today, but this is another nice pot for me. Having a pretty good day now after that early king-jack setback. Lots of nice little pots coming my way as well. Perfect example, I'm in the $20 straddle with 5 deuce offsuit, and after 3 limps, I check. We see a flop of 4 deuce-deuce, which unfortunately for me is going to get checked round. I bomb it for $75 on the 3 of hearts turn. Early position calls, and on the queen river, I bet again, this time for $160. Again getting paid off. Just lots of nice little pots like this coming my way. Kind of sad though that the game has gone 5-handed. Really don't want it to break early on my first session back. Still, the game goes on, and next up I'm in the small blind with queen 10 of diamonds and open to $70. The $20 straddle makes a call. Super nice guy. This is the first time meeting him today, and within a few seconds of sitting down, he was needling me for the 12k pot that I lost in the last episode versus king 9 offsuit. We go heads up in this hand to 10-8-7 rainbow. Not an amazing board for my hand or my range here, so I decide to check out of position, and the straddle takes a stab for $100. Easy call, I of course can't raise. To the turn, it's a delicious offsuit 10. 3 of a kind for me here. I check again, and the straddle bets again for $350. I just flat call again, hoping to see a clean river, but this is a pretty bad one. The 9 just slides in there to put the 4-liner on board. I check once more, and the straddle bets again, this time for $800. It's gone from a great spot on the turn to a pretty ugly one here on the river. After tanking for a while, I say that I don't know what to do in this spot, spot, and the guy to my left, who's told me about 20 times today to stop peeling my whole card so flamboyantly, says, I've seen your cards, I know what I would do, which, let's be honest, is just fucking top tier banter. Dealer then pipes up with, you may as well show your hand then, to the delight of the table, and sure enough, I turn over my hand for a bit of fun. I ask my opponent what I should do, and he says, if you call, you win. Do people normally tell the truth when they say that? Is this an obvious strength tell because he's clearly lying? I don't have a clue. And what's more, after I show my hand, he starts to look quite nervous, which could be another reverse tell. I'm so confused and overwhelmed by all these tells and reverse tells, I just say fuck it and make the call. He tells me I'm good, let's go. What's more, the whole table tells me after the hand that I should call much faster. I pleaded my case, there was a 4-liner on board, and they were just like, bro, you have trips, you can't fold. Maybe I'm just getting a bit nitty as the years go by, but thankfully the 15% VPIP self-proclaimed most handsome reg in all of Hustler sticks up for me and says that he would have folded on the river. Thank you very much, John. I appreciate that, buddy. Having a really nice day now, and things could be getting better for me when next up I look down at pocket aces in the blinds. Same guy from the last hand opens to $75. Small blind calls, as does the middle blind, and I put in the squeeze to $375. This is maybe a tiny bit too big in hindsight, but no harm done as the button makes the call. We go heads up to ace 7-3 with 2 hearts. A very good flop if I do say so myself. I throw out a small c-bet for $200, and imagine my surprise when he raises my c-bet to $650. Really didn't expect that. I fake tank for about 30 seconds before making the call. Praying for no heart on the turn, the dealer obliges in the form of an offsuit 10. I check and the button decides to check back. A little disappointed to see that. To the river, it's an offsuit deuce. 5-4 gets there, but if he's got 5-4, then so be it. I check, praying the button doesn't check back. And sure enough, after a few seconds, he moves all in. I snap call, to which he says, that's probably not good for me. I immediately turn my hand over and he looks a little shocked and mucks. Pretty sure he wasn't bluffing here and I've just coolered him. But once again, this is another big pot coming my way. I've run so well so far today. Hopefully can keep that going for the full 3 months I'm here in America. Not greedy at all. Next up, I'm on the button with King 5 of clubs. I raise it on up to $60. The small blind then puts in the re-raise to $200. We're about 4k effective and I'm getting a good price and I'm in position, so I decide to make the call. Heads up to the flop, it is King 5-3 all diamonds. Loving top 2 pair here. And when my opponent checks, I'm really not worried about him having a flush very often at all. I bet $140. No need to go huge here on the flop when the board can change so much on future streets. He makes the call. To the turn, it's an offsuit 7. The small blind then leads into me for $400. A little surprised to see this, but I decide to just call just in case I'm behind. To the river, it's another offsuit deuce. Very clean river, and my opponent now checks. I'm very confident I've got the best hand. Time to try and get some value. I decide to bet $950. This feels like a nice number that could get paid off, and sure enough, my opponent does make the call. I show my hand, and the Gazzy B run good train pulls into yet another stop as my opponent mucks. This has been a ridiculous last couple of hours, winning all the big pots and building a big stack in the process. On to our final hand of the session. Hustler legend Mike X is sat in the game, one of the nicest guys in all of Los Angeles poker. He opens to $60 in the small blind. I'm in the big blind with Queen Jack offsuit and make the call. The big blind and the straddle both call as well. We go 4 ways to Queen Jack for rainbow. This is just insane. After Mike checks, I bet out for $175. Everybody does fold, but I turn my hand over to show that I'm running super well, and everyone just flat out hates me at this point. It's been a great first session back, but after 7 hours of grinding, I decide that I'm ready to go home. I tap the table and head off to the cashier, booking a very nice win in the process. Alright troops, that is going to do it. What an amazing start to the trip. You know when you're playing poker and there's one guy that's winning all the money and everyone at the table is just like, what a dick that guy is? I was that dick today. It was amazing. I won 7.5k. Absolutely delighted. Didn't play particularly well, just smashed the deck over and over again, which is great. Alright, that'll do it for this session. Until next time, guys and girls, take it easy.